Come on. Good girl, come on. Let's go, Belle. Come on. Come on. What are you doing, dummy? Come on. Let's go. This way. All right. So, I figured you'd probably want a little bit of a background on me. Come on, this way. I grew up in the county, been hunting and fishing my entire life, always outdoors. It's kind of my forte. When I was about 10, I was in Navy League Cadets, where I had military training, or a militant trained me in survival, or us, our group, I guess you could say. And ever since then, I've been completely 100% into wilderness survival and all that good stuff. So, well, I was in cadets for a couple years, and if there was anything that stuck, it would be the survival class that I took. So, anyways, got my first pellet gun when I was 6 or 7. So yeah, always been out in the woods. It's where I feel more comfortable. I'd rather be in the woods than in the city, for one. Like, I was going crazy when I lived in the apartment. So yeah, that's a background on me. Come on, Belle. Good girl. Come on. Anyways, truth be told, I'm actually doing this video series for my son. Since the COVID pandemic started, I've been having issues with my heart and stress and anxiety and all that major stuff. Anxiety to the point where it was actually just about making me pass out. So I'm doing these videos in hopes that my son might have the same love for bushcraft as his father does. And also because I worry sometimes that I might not be able to teach him these things. So that's what I'm making these videos for. So feel free to join us in this little bit of a journey into the fundamentals of survival. So the first thing is denial. When somebody gets lost, chances are they're going to be in denial and deny the fact that they're even lost. So what they'll do is they'll keep on pushing through the bush trying to find the trail or path or whatever, and in turn getting themselves even more lost. So the best thing you can do when you realize, or when you finally think that you're lost, is come to terms with it, take a couple deep breaths and sit down. You need to calm yourself down. Now it's time to assess your situation. You're going to want to check yourself over for first aid. You're going to want to know what kind of equipment you have, what the land around you is like, and what the weather is going to do. So, are you hurt? If you are, tend to your wounds first. Second, check all your equipment. See what kind of equipment you have in your backpack. Check your pockets. Maybe you got keys. Check your keys, keychains, whatever. Third is the land around you. Is there water nearby? Is there any good spots for shelters? At this point, you're going to want to look up. and see if there's any widowmakers, any dead tree branches that the wind could bring down on top of you and kill you. So does the land suit your needs? And fourth, what's the weather going to do? Is it going to rain? Is it going to snow? Is it going to be blistering hot? These are things you got to figure out before you can start prioritizing your priorities. So your priorities will be personal protection, sustenance, and signaling. I didn't retain a whole lot of information from my time in cadets, but the information that I did retain, come here, could be life-saving. So I'm going to share that with you. Good girl. So first things first, you're always going to want to check first aid. That's the reason it's called first aid. It's because it's the first thing you do. Check yourself for any scratches, cuts, abrasions, because in the wilderness, even just the tiniest little scratch can incapacitate you after it becomes infected. So I would recommend learning some antiseptic plants in your area and maybe learning how to use them properly and going over a little bit of bushcraft first aid, how to make splints. Some useful information like that could save your life. Next is fire. Some would deem water a little more important than fire because someone can only go like 3 days without water, right? So depending on your situation, it's prioritizing your priorities. In my case, there's water all over the place. So fire. With fire, you're going to be able to cook your food, keep yourself warm, keep yourself safe, and if the water that's around you is questionable, you'll be able to boil it. Bella, come. Here. So I deem fire the second most important priority. Come on, Belle. Come on. Number 3 would be water. Without water, a human being can only go 3 to 4 days, maybe 4 days, depending on the conditions. Water is a major priority. Never drink questionable water. Stagnant or dirty water can make you sick, giving you diarrhea, and making you vomit, in turn dehydrating you even more. So that could be a death sentence. Always boil your water. Simple as that. It's the easiest way to purify your water. Boil it for 5 to 10 minutes at a rolling boil, and you won't have to worry about any kind of viruses. There might still be some chemical contaminants, but at least you'll know that there's no viruses or protozoa in the water you're about to drink. Now, shelter is another means of protection. Building shelter will help you, 1, stay out of the elements, and 2, it'll help keep you away from all the crazy critters in the woods. Be it bears, dogs, bugs. The more time you spend on your shelter, the more comfortable you should be. Right, Belle? Be sure to make it big enough for you to fit, but insulated enough to keep you warm, especially in this kind of weather. Be sure to always carry a space blanket with you in the woods, if anything, because then at least you'll be a little bit drier and warmer than you would otherwise. Now that you got your shelter in place, your fire's lit, and your water's procured, it's time to start looking for food. You can do this by setting traps for little squirrels, mice, deadfalls, stuff for tiny little mammals. You can follow tracks and see if it'll lead you to any dens. Another thing I forgot to mention is checking your immediate area for wildlife sign, because usually when 2 wildlife trails converge into one, it's usually pointing towards a water source. Now it's time to start making traps and nets, foraging. You gotta look for food. You gotta keep your energy up. Keeping your body full of energy will not only keep you alive, but it'll keep you sane. It'll keep you thinking straight. I tend to avoid mushrooms personally because I don't know enough about them. Bella, here. Good girl, you come. Again, if you look for animal sign in your area, they actually might lead you to a creek or something that you can start fishing in. You can make live well fish traps, deadfalls, snares, foraging for nuts like acorns and berries. Knowing a little bit about the wild edibles in your area could be a lifesaver. Around here in the summer, spring, fall time, there's a lot of wild edibles. Wild spinach or goosefoot, whatever you want to call it. Burdock. There's garlic mustard. There's a whole bunch of different things. I could even go out and eat the tubers of the cattails that are out there. So a little bit of knowledge can go a long way. All right, now signaling. Signaling can be done in a couple different ways. It can be done usually more successfully from ground to air. Signaling a plane or a helicopter from the ground using a mirror or an SOS stamped into the ground or the snow will often signal your rescuers to come get you. Signal fires would also be a good method. If you have a whistle, then you can use a whistle to give 3 long blasts. You could even use a rifle cartridge, a spent rifle cartridge that if you blow in it properly, it can make a whistle noise. So remember, if you find yourself lost in the woods, remember these 3 things. First, stay calm. Sit down and relax. Don't blow it out of proportion. Don't freak yourself out. Number 2, do an assessment. Assess your situation. Assess yourself for injuries. Assess your equipment. And assess your surroundings and the weather. Bella, come. And number 3, prioritize your priorities. After doing your assessment, you should know what do you need first. Obviously, the first thing is first aid. Check yourself over. Any little cut, as I said, can become infected and in turn giving you a fever, making you sick, making you puke, dehydrating you even further, killing you, all right? Fire or water, your assessment will tell you what one you need first, okay? Usually I do fire because with fire you can purify any kind of water that you find laying around. So first aid, fire, water, shelter. You gotta build yourself something to keep you out of the elements and away from the creatures, okay? Food, you're gonna need to eat, you're gonna need to stay alert. And last but not least, signaling. Because, well, even that plane way up there, if I had a mirror right now, I might be able to signal them. They'll give me a wingtip and send somebody to my location. So anyways, that's the beginning of Jeremiah's survival guide. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, follow along. I'll be coming out with more videos on fire, water, shelter, first aid, all that good stuff. And we'll be getting down to it. Anyways, thanks again for watching. God bless. Stay safe out there. And I'll have more survival videos coming your way. Cheers. I guess I'll just follow the dog. Say bye, Belle.